So what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So what is the connection between Gohan and Bardock? Well, in order to understand this, we need to look at the connection between Bardock and Piccolo. Now, Bardock and Piccolo actually have a lot in common. If you look at their characters, their principles, the things that they stand for, their approach to things are very similar. Piccolo's whole thing, at least Piccolo Jr., I mean King Piccolo too, yeah, but with Piccolo Jr., this is something that they've focused on a lot, particularly when it comes to Piccolo's training sessions with Gohan. This is essentially the main focus of everything that Piccolo has tried to teach Gohan, and that is the principles of survival. Now, there's a reason that this is a common thread amongst the teachings of Piccolo and Bardock, because when Saiyans lose themselves to their emotions, they essentially lose control of their actions in a sense. We see this with Goku and Super Saiyan. We see this with Gohan anytime he has a rage boost. The reason that this idea of survival is so important was actually expanded on in the Dragon Ball Super anime whenever Piccolo and Gohan trained together prior to the Tournament of Power. And the entire point of this exchange is essentially for Piccolo to communicate to Gohan that the reason he always loses in battle is because he either gets cocky, which is what happened in the Buu saga whenever he lost himself to essentially his Saiyan nature. He essentially became overconfident and arrogant and very Vegeta-like, and that's the reason he lost to Majin Buu. And then when it came to Cell, he essentially let his emotions get the best of him. The remedy to this is concentrating on nothing but your survival in a battle scenario. And the reason this is the remedy is because it's essentially a fix for the emotional instability that is stirred within Goku or Gohan or really any Saiyan who's overtaken by the rage. It plays on the fact that survival inherently is a selfish desire in most cases, and within the Buddhist context, it's considered essentially the source of all selfishness and evil. But it's also a necessity in life. And the whole entire point of martial arts is to take an amoral stance to this idea and to essentially not overstep your bounds in terms of doing things for your survival like the Saiyans have in the past, and essentially just use this idea for survival alone from an amoral stance. And this idea, this philosophy, can be used to stabilize the emotional instability that Gohan and Goku and any Saiyan, whenever they are overtaken by their rage and their emotions. Now, it's no coincidence that the Granola arc and everything that Goku learned in order to essentially maintain emotional stability while also using his emotions to his advantage, it's no coincidence that this happened in the Granola arc, and then immediately Gohan masters the lessons that Piccolo tried to teach him in Dragon Ball Super by essentially using this idea of perceiving nothing but survival to essentially control the emotional instability that comes with Gohan's rage and his outbursts that he's always been associated with, which, according to Akira Toriyama himself, Gohan Beast is centered around the awakenings that Gohan used to have as a child, and the ultimate state itself is derived from rage. All of that has been blatantly stated in promotional material for the Dragon Ball Super superhero film. So the common theme amongst Bardock and Piccolo is that they both are trying to essentially teach Goku and Gohan the amoral stance and the benefits of concentrating on nothing but your own survival in a life or death scenario. When Piccolo tells Gohan, you need to be a warrior and you need to put all your focus into the battle because this is life or death. When he's telling him that, the reason he's telling him that is because that is the fix, again, to Gohan's emotional instability, and that was also the fix for Goku's emotional instability in the Granola arc. A lot of people overlook this, but the entire point of that buildup is Goku having trouble using Ultra Instinct without giving into his rage. Goku talks about this whenever he's in Super Saiyan Blue against Gas. And he's having to fight between that being an issue with UI and also his heart getting excited in battle because he's a Saiyan, which causes his emotions and his adrenaline to flow, which essentially interferes with his ability to maintain the silver-haired Ultra Instinct transformation because he has to have a calm heart and a calm mind in order to maintain that form of Ultra Instinct. So essentially, the lesson that Bardock taught Goku is the exact same lesson that Piccolo taught Gohan. It's the exact same thing. And in both cases, thinking about nothing but survival is essentially helping them keep a cool head through the emotional jarring shocks and reactions that they have. Goku via his version of Ultra Instinct, where he uses shocks to his emotions to allow his body to move on its own and essentially adapt and react to his opponent, and Gohan essentially using these emotional shocks to skyrocket his chi upwards, but also having to deal with the after effects of his Saiyan nature being so powerful. You'll actually see this. This is like a common thread amongst Gohan, Bardock, and Goku, is that when they're in their states, like their individual transformations that we've seen lately in Dragon Ball Super, they all have this very specific expression that is like their Saiyan nature basically being pushed to the front, right? Like you can see it in their face that their nature as a Saiyan has been activated. But despite that, using this idea of perceiving your own survival and nothing else helps them alleviate the emotional instability that comes with being in a life and death scenario. So the connection between Bardock and Gohan is that the same lesson that Bardock extended to Goku, that's the lesson that Piccolo has been trying to extend to Gohan this entire time. So the lesson that Goku learned from Bardock is identical. It's just being used in a different way to the lesson that Gohan learned from Piccolo. Now, Piccolo and Bardock are heavily connected due to the fact that they both have this stance on things. They both have this survival of the fittest stance on things. If you've watched my videos, you'll know that I noticed this similarity between Bardock and Piccolo like a really long time ago. But Gohan Beast and Goku's version of Ultra Instinct were essentially confirmation that Akira Toriyama was concentrating on the same themes in terms of Piccolo and Bardock's character. They essentially serve the same purpose as warriors to help their son and their student learn how to face these life or death scenarios whenever their heart starts pumping and they essentially get ingrained into the battle and their Saiyan nature is at its most powerful, at its peak. What Bardock used to alleviate the emotional instability and take advantage of his heart beating in battle without giving into his emotions, what he used to do that is the exact same thing that Piccolo is trying to get Gohan to use to do that. And Goku has mastered this himself at this point by allowing his heart to pump rapidly in battle and keeping his mind calm, essentially combining the form that Bardock had in the Granola arc with Ultra Instinct itself. That's essentially what Goku's version of Ultra Instinct is. And Gohan Beast is essentially a representation of Gohan mastering the two lessons that he failed to master in Dragon Ball Super and in Dragon Ball Z during the Cell Saga and during the Ultimate Gohan stuff. Gohan Beast is a culmination, a summary, a miraculous conclusion to the lessons that Piccolo has been trying to instill into Gohan basically the entire series. So I just thought that was really, really cool. I definitely think it was worth making a video about. Maybe it will help you appreciate the two arcs a bit more, because I do think both arcs are very underrated. I know the Dragon Ball Super superhero retelling is getting a bad rap because of it being a retelling, which is understandable. But the Granola arc, I don't relate to the Granola arc hate at all. If you've watched my videos, you'll understand that I have a very different perception of that arc. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out so much. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.